Welcome, everyone, to our Lawyer.com live. Super excited about the topic we're going to cover here today. I know Colleen gets really excited anytime we mention those two letters AI. At Lawyer.com, Colleen's the president, and Jerry's the CEO. And together, those two are just visionaries when it comes to what's the next thing, what is going to make our life better, how we can be super innovative. And as we talk about what is going to help us get us to where we want to be. And the thing that I love about this group, Gary and Colleen, is when we talk, it's never fear-based, it's always opportunity-based.
Sure.
And so when it comes to specifically with AI, sometimes people will address it as, oh no, what's this mean? What does this mean for our firm? But the reality is there's a ton of opportunity there. But with that being said, we're going to talk about 3 specific mistakes that law firms make when it comes to AI. 3 specific mistakes. So here we go. We're going to identify them. We'll share them with you. We'll unpack them. And then you can see if that's something or a mistake that you fall into. And Colleen, we'll start off with you as we share these 3 mistakes that law firms make when it comes to AI.
Sure. So we've been teaching AI here through our webinar series for the last year or so. And what we've learned a lot in the last year is we have a lot of data and we have a lot of feedback from lawyers on how they're using AI and how they're not using AI. A very interesting statistic said that in November, 15% of law firms were using AI, and they expect that number to grow to 77% by the end of this year.
Whoa, stop there. Which of those 2 statistics were more surprising for you, Colleen? Was
honestly,
it that 15% were using it, or that 77 would be?
77
Wow,
that would be using it was surprising to me. But I think that number is so large because it is very easy to use AI. And you had just asked the question, what is one of the biggest mistakes a law firm has when coming to AI? And it's not using AI in general. It's nothing to be afraid of. What it does is help you run a better business. Anytime you're creating content, use ChatGPT, use generative AI as a tool to create the shell of the content. Now, we always advise whenever you're using any kind of AI, you have your safety guard rails on, right? Your bike helmet, right? You're smart about how you do it. But there are amazing AI softwares out there that will help you create demand letters, that will do research, right? Everybody talks about Lexis AI. It's a phenomenal platform. Use it. If it's going to help reduce the time that you're spending, why not? And I think that is the reason why we're going to grow from 15% adoption rate to 77% adoption rate. But if you're not using AI, you're making a mistake.
Right. That is a huge statistic. What a jump in thinking that. And I know we've talked about in our live that we have a huge event planned for the fall.
Yep.
And we'll have cutting edge AI companies there.
Yep.
To help people really see. And obviously we'll have presentations from the Lawyer.com team that they will share exactly things that people need to be doing when it comes to AI. But it is interesting, and Colleen starts us off there with the number 1 mistake, and that's just not using AI. Just not. And it is hard. It is hard for people to change, and especially those of us in the legal space, it's even more difficult. And Colleen, you have spent more time with, I think, more attorneys than anyone on this planet, and you know that in the legal space, we are adverse to risk. We're risk adverse. And so it's like, oh my goodness. And so what will happen, Colleen, is that people, attorneys specifically, will do research, and there will be 1,000 great examples of using AI, and there will be 1 poor example. And they'll hang on that 1 poor example that stops them from from jumping in and immersing yourself.
But it's, again, we feel very strongly about AI, so we could go on forever. You want to understand the risk, but you don't want to not use it because your competitors are using generative AI right now, and it's giving them the advantage. And a mistake that you are making is not understanding how to use it to grow your firm.
Perfect. That's huge. So that's mistake number one that Colleen unpacked there for us. Gary, give us the second mistake that you see that law firms are encountering when it comes to AI.
Sure. Well, first, I just want to say I was shocked by that stat that you just shared, Colleen, because to have such low adoption to such widespread adoption in 1 year seems crazy.
Yeah.
But I think that, and Colleen, you kind of touched on it. I think that the second biggest issue is underestimating the capabilities of AI, underestimating. And I want to unpack that a little bit further and give an example of why I say that. But first of all, I think before I share all the benefits that I think are yet to be had with it, I'm going to turn off my AI tools for a second. So they don't hear me, because I do subscribe to the fact that AI could be our biggest existential threat. Like, I think that ultimately it could be our demise. However, until then, I'm using it every day, and I think everybody else should, because the things that we're able to accomplish with it are mind-boggling. And I'm glad that we have this topic today, because the reason why I said it's underestimating the AI capabilities. I just want to point to just one area in which we obviously use it for our clients, which I don't know that anybody's ever really conceived of this. So I just want to give 4 examples, Chad. And they all kind of relate to intake. And one of the challenges with intake is that it's very hard to have very consistent daily training and daily practice, right? Meaning, so you've heard me, and I know I probably said it on here before, that practicing for the sake of practicing doesn't do us really any good, right? If we're practicing doing something the wrong way, it doesn't help us. And we're never too mature in our profession, in our life, to ignore the fact that we can always be brushing up our skills. And I've talked about how rusty I get when I go on vacation and all that. So the first thing that I just want to share is that one of the big frustrations in talking with law firms is that they never really know whether or not their intake person is doing a good job. So I just want to spotlight one example of how we use AI with something that we call the daily practice partner, which is a bot that acts as a PNC that then does role playing with the intake person, and at the conclusion of that generates a report letting them know what they did right and what they did wrong. And that's invaluable, because there aren't too many law firm owners that are sitting down that are able to take that time to listen to a phone call here or there, right? And then there's that whole scope of all the things that come in that happen in a month. But if you're able to use AI to identify what's being done right and what's being done wrong, it's like having a manager full time there with you. And that's another thing that we use AI for, and bots. And then there's the cultivation bot, and what I like about that is that client cultivation bot is kind of like having your own press agent, right? It's out there working for you, spreading the news where you don't have to do that. And then there's the other personal assistant bot that really is kind of like your opportunity to offload the things that you don't want to do, or the things that, quite frankly, are better off being done by AI. I think that once people understand the opportunity that exists with with AI, it'll be one of those things that they turn around and look back a few years from now and say, can you imagine we actually had to use our fingers to type, or we'll plug something in, it'll read our mind, who knows? But so I'm just going to say that law firms are not using AI to their fullest potential, and they really should.
Well, and Gary, and you just gave a few examples there. And this, Colleen, this is one of the things that the Lawyer.com team, I mean, just reach out to the Lawyer.com team. There's so many different tools and resources we have at Lawyer.com. I mean, Gary's just mentioning a few as we talk through, we have this type of strategy, this type of strategy. Yep. But when people reach out to the Lawyer.com team, you can really sit down with one of our law firm building experts and they can go like, look, hey, you need more leads. This is what you could be doing. You need, your phone needs to be answered. This is what you can be doing. There's so many different ways that people can leverage AI and the Lawyer.com team. And I just want to talk real quickly on that third mistake. So Colleen, you said they're not using it. Gary, you said you're underestimating all the capabilities. And I'm going to just touch on a third one there. And that is, we don't use automation as well. Like, so AI is powerful, but automation. So before we jumped on this call, I did a little research on Google and I said, when did automation start? And I guess I should have been more specific because the answer was in the flour mills in the 1700s when they started using water to turn instead of humans doing it, the water turned it, right? Okay. And so really taking the approach of what could be automated through AI. There's so much out there, so much opportunity out there. Now we got to be careful because as we're talking, Colleen, Gary, and I, as we're talking, an attorney listening might be going, oh my goodness, this is so much. And as we know, the confused mind does nothing. And that's why, Colleen, only 15% of people are doing this. But just reach out to a law firm building expert over at Lawyer.com and say, look, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to go. And we can absolutely help you with that. Because one thing that we want to make sure that law firms don't feel overwhelmed and that they don't feel like, oh my goodness, AI, you guys just mentioned 3 mistakes with AI. Then you start mentioning these tools and all, oh my goodness, okay, I'm gonna go back to the yellow pages, right? And that's the tendency we have. But the reality is there are people to help you get you to where you want to be. And that's what I love about the Lawyer.com family, the community that we're a part of, really helping you get to that 77%. Because the reality is this, Colleen, you mentioned it, that we are either going to be engaged or we're going to get left behind.
Right. We say this all the time. The wave is coming. You want to be riding it or you want to get swallowed by it? Those are the 2 options. Those are literally the only 2 options that we have in front of us right now. So learn, engage, grow, and be one of those 77%.
Wait, okay. Colleen, is that the makings of a t-shirt? Let's wrap up with that. Learn, engage, grow, and be a part of the 77%. I feel like that should be a Lawyer.com t-shirt.
There you go.
Because I know cars are so nice today that the bumper stickers are being reduced. So we can't necessarily put it on the bumper sticker, but the t-shirt absolutely works. So
the shopping cart will open up in the next hour and you can place your orders then.
That's like learn, engage, grow. And by the way, don't be complacent. Learn, engage, and grow that's the focus. Colleen, I'm gonna run with that. Learn, engage, grow, and you take those 3 letters. They spell leg. If you want to leg up and you want to get to where you need to be, learn, engage, and grow, and just become part of the Lawyer.com family. And we'll let's help you get there together. So, any parting thoughts as we wrap up?
I can't do better than that. I'm out.
Yeah, go put your leg up. Let's get a leg up. Learn, engage, grow. Everyone have an awesome day. See you.